My ex came back after 9 years. Too late 9 years. That's how long it had been since I last saw Logan's face in person. The same face that once swore I was his forever. And then, just weeks later, treated me like I was poison. He divorced me over a lie. A misunderstanding so absurd, it would be funny if it hadn't burned my entire life to the ground. Back then, he came home early one afternoon and found my best friend Julian in our bedroom. Julian was zipping me into a bridesmaid dress for his wedding. Logan didn't wait to ask questions. Didn't even blink before jumping to the worst possible conclusion. I remember his voice shaking as he said, "I can't believe you do this to me." I was barefoot, standing there with pins in the hem of a dress, trying to explain that Julian was gay, that he'd been my friend since college. Logan didn't hear a word. By the next morning, he'd packed his things and filed for divorce. I begged him to talk to me, but he blocked me everywhere. Calls, texts, even mutual friends. Julian tried too, but Logan shut everyone out. He didn't even let me speak during the divorce hearing. 6 years together, and he couldn't give me 5 minutes of trust. He took the house, he kept the dog, and our mutual friends most sided with him. I was branded the cheater. I moved out of town, took a paralegal job, and tried to rebuild from nothing. It took everything I had to climb out of that hole. I studied at night, worked all day, barely slept. Eventually, I got into law school, and that's where I met Asher. Quiet, kind, infuriatingly patient Asher. He was the opposite of Logan in every possible way. When I spoke, he listened. When I cried, he stayed. When I doubted myself, he reminded me how far I'd come. We got married 3 years ago. We have twin boys now, Jamie and Eli. 4 years old, loud, messy, and perfect. Then, last Saturday morning, the doorbell rang. I was making pancakes. The boys were running around in their pajamas, arguing over who got more chocolate chips. I peeked through the peephole and froze. Logan, holding a huge bouquet of red roses, wearing that same confident smirk that used to make my heart race. I opened the door. "Raina," he said, breathless, like my name was a prayer. I ran into Julian last month. He told me everything about the wedding, the misunderstanding. I've been such an idiot. I can't believe what I did to us, but I'm here now. I'm ready to forgive you and start over. Forgive me. For a moment, I just stared at him. My brain couldn't process the arrogance of it. Forgive me, the woman whose life he'd detonated for something I didn't even do. And then Asher walked into the hallway, wiping flour off his hands. "Everything okay, babe?" he asked, putting an arm around my waist. Right on cue, our boys came running up behind him. "Mommy, who's that man?" Jaime asked, still chewing a mouthful of pancake. Logan blinked once, twice. His smile collapsed. He looked from Asher's hand on my waist to the family photos lining the wall. Me, Asher, the twins, and his face drained of color. You're married?" he stammered. "You have kids?" "Yes," I said softly. "To someone who listens before he judges. Someone who trusts me." Logan's jaw tightened. I figured you'd wait. That once I found out the truth, you'd wait?" I laughed, sharp, involuntary. "You mean wait 9 years for you to accidentally stumble across what 5 minutes of honesty could have solved? You think I'd put my life on hold for the man who destroyed it?" He opened his mouth, but no words came out. I reached for the bouquet he was still clutching like a lifeline. "Thanks for these, though," I said, smiling. "Asher loves gardening. These will look beautiful in the backyard." The one he built for our family. His eyes went glassy. For once, Logan had nothing left to say. As I began closing the door, he whispered, "I loved you, Raina." "I know," I said through the crack, "but you never trusted me. And love without trust isn't love at all." The door clicked shut. Behind it, I heard nothing but silence. When I turned back, Asher was already pouring syrup for the boys, pretending like nothing had happened. Jamie asked if he could have extra chocolate chips. Eli wanted to know if we could go to the park later. And as I stood there watching them, my husband, my sons, my real life, I realized something. Revenge isn't always about payback. Sometimes it's about peace. About building something so solid, so joyful, that when your past comes knocking, you don't even want to open the door.